lovely Friday afternoon, a special Friday for that matter. Today, Zambia turns 61. It has been a milestone, and it's always good to know that we can celebrate our independence in this country. I'm your host, Taizi Achela, and you're watching me live on GoTV 27, DSTV 279, and Topstar Channel 102. We're also live on Facebook. For those of you who would want to comment, for those of you who have a number of text messages, today being Independence Day, you can simply get through to us on the very number appearing on the screen. And I would be more than glad just for you to also share what you understand by the term independence, and do you think we are definitely free in this country? Is Zambia free? So I would want to get those views from you. My guests, just get very interactive. Use the number on the screen, or you can simply send a text message to the very number which is appearing on the screen. Of course, we will also be looking at the theme for this year, which also talks about building Zambia's resilience and a prosperous Zambia. So if you have any comments, any contributions, you can definitely give me a call on the number appearing on the screen. And I will also be introducing my guest in a short while. But for now, we take a very short break, as I will be introducing my guests just after the short break. Get yourself a glass of water. It's getting very hot. Thank you for still staying with us. I hope you had that water. Yeah, I decided to just take a very short break. You know, it's getting very hot. Of course, we saw some parts of the country yesterday. There were some showers, yeah. But it's getting very hot. And today, as we look at this interesting topic, we'll also touch a number of sectors. We'll also look at how young people contributed to the freedom we have in the country at this moment. So joining me in the studio is Mr. Bartholomew Phiri, who is a political analyst. Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime Chat.
Thank you very much, Taizia. Good afternoon to you, and happy Independence, and also to all the viewers.
All right. Next to Mr. Phiri is also another Mr. Phiri. I was even laughing when both of them were coming. I think I was telling Farah that people will be thinking like maybe you're the young brother to the older Mr. Phiri. So next to Mr. Bartholomew, we have Farah and his son Phiri. Good afternoon. Welcome to Lunchtime Chat.
Good afternoon, Taizia, and good afternoon to the viewers. Happy Independence Day.
All right. I'll start with you, a youth. How do you define independence according to you as we celebrate our 61st independence?
All right. So basically, independence to us, the young people, this is actually a day that brought about the peace that we are experiencing, that we have, the freedom that we have in Zambia today, the peace that we are experiencing in Zambia today. So to us, the young people, it is a very vital thing to us. We don't take it merely. We celebrate it with all our dignity and with all our heart, because this is the hope that we have that will help us, even as we'll be taking in these leadership positions as we are going ahead.
Right.
Yes.
The political analyst, I'm sure you understand politics very well.
Sure.
Yeah. Of course, the background that you have, and also maybe what you also studied. Your own definition of independence as we are celebrating this day. And if you can marry the two, do you think we are independent as a country? or rather our type of independence has, you know, a little bit hidden in that?
All right, thank you very much, Comrade Taisia. I think to just break it down and bring it to a layman's language, independence means being free to make own decisions. I think that, to me, explains it all. Then in responding to your question, whether we are independent or maybe we are not, I would say what we gained is political independence, meaning that we did not attain full independence, and there was need now, or there is need for us as a country to go through that path and then clearly achieve what we call independence in full.
Okay, maybe just maybe if you can also go in depth and explain it for someone who wants to understand. What do you mean? Since you're saying we just gained political independence, for someone who's watching, they want to understand what you mean political independence.
Right.
Here.
So getting into details of it, I would say we've got our liberation icons who fought for this independence we are celebrating today. So let me also take an opportunity to also pay my heartfelt tribute to the Zambians' liberation icons. You know, they fought for our independence. They brought us to where we are today, and I think it's important to appreciate them because their sacrifice, their vision, brought it created you know, a foundation for pure democracy, pure independence itself, and then also it created a foundation that we, the people now that have taken over from them, we should be able to govern ourselves with a view of having clear national sovereignty and also determination. So I think it's important to appreciate them. And then when I say we gained political independence, I understand because many people may not understand what political independence is. So when you look at independence in its broader term, when you say I'm independent, it means there must be no any external powers involved. So external people should never at any point dictate to us what we are supposed to do. So if you say I'm independent, then it means you must be able to make your own decisions. You must be able to do things on your own. But yes, of course, you can seek for help from others, but let them not impose what they want you to do. Okay, so you decide on your own. So that's what I mean when I say political independence, because from my end, obviously, even from the people out there that have studied politics at its broader, you know, at its broader stage, they will understand with me that political independence simply means you have the right to decide who should lead you, but then your economy is being controlled by others or external contributors or so. So this is what I mean when I say we gained political independence. It means that the economic independence is not yet ours because we still depend on our foreign masters, and they dictate to us what they want us to do.
All right. Farah, if you look at where we are, we're 61 years, and during the time of independence, probably even before independence, there were also young people who participated in that. How do you look at the behavior of young people nowadays? Do you think if the generation we have, the generation of young people, that was the generation that was there back then, 61 years ago, do you think we would have gained independence?
All right, a very good question, Taisia. First and foremost, I have to agree to the fact that the current youth that we have in the country, you know, we are living in a modern world now, so there's a little bit a change with what is happening. So we are youth of a kind of a youth where we are too much on social media. We are not taking things serious. We are not taking things seriously, and this is what is contributing to have a lower participation of youths in governance, in decision making, because most of the youths, you know, are not paying particular attention to these issues. So the youth that we have now, they really needs a lot of sensitization. a lot of teachings on how best they can participate, because the youth that were there, they stood with those that fought for us, the independence icons. They stood with them. They made sure to say they supported the decisions that they made to say we are tired of being lured, of being colonialized. But this time around, our youths are supposed to be educated and sensitized on how best they can take the full responsibility of this nation.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Phiri, order Mr. Phiri. How do you look at the behavior of young people nowadays?
All right. So looking at the behavior of the young people today, as we are speaking, is that we have ventured into social life, which is a very bad thing. That symbolizes that we lack responsibility. Most young people lack responsibility. But when you look at the young people at that time who were on the battlefield, who were on the forefront to fight for this liberation, this independence that we are celebrating today, they took it upon themselves. They sacrificed. They had a vision for Zambia. They knew that at one point, Mr. Phiri or Bartholomew Phiri at some point would be there also to contribute to this nation. But if we don't create an enabling environment, then it means he will not have that access to, to contribute to his nation. So they were very determined. They had self-determination. Then they had a vision. They were responsible enough. So I think like what my comrade, my colleague here said, yes, it's true. We need to sensitize young people, and we need to also understand that if young people do not pay attention to what we are saying now, then there's a danger path for Zambia. Because for me personally, I believe that young people are not the leaders of tomorrow, are the leaders of today. Because older ones are going. We are energetic and we have all the muscles that we can, despite having the financial muscle, but we have the muscles that we can do better. Look at even in all these sectors, for instance, like in, let me just speak in general, civil servants. Majority civil servants are young people. So now, if young people are not responsible, if young people have not dedicated their lives to save this country, then who else is going to save this country? So the young people of today, they don't need to take this day as a day where you go out there, social life, drinking beer, dancing here and there. I think it's a time that we begin reflecting, looking at why is it that the likes of Kaunda, Frederick Chiluba, of course, though he has not been mentioned to be one of the liberation icons, I believe Zambia was getting independence when Chiluba was about 20 to 21 years. Okay.
But I think he was a youth, and by that time,
he was a youth.
Way back, someone would even be married by that time.
Yes, yeah. And he was also a trade unionist at that time. So you can also see that there was responsibility within himself. So the young people should not just take this day as a social day where you go there socializing yourself, drinking, and all those different activities. I think it's high time that we started now reflecting on the main purpose why our forefathers fought for this independence that we have today. It's because we are supposed to take over from them. So we are the leaders of today and not tomorrow. And when that enters their minds, and they...
Are you also putting yourself in that category of the young people?
No, I've taken up...
Or rather, you are those people who would say youthful in nature. Is it youthful in appearance or youthful where?
All right, for me, I've taken up responsibility to contribute to my nation. That's why I'm even here. So I've not decided to go out there and engage myself in social life and all those activities. I've decided to come here and also share my knowledge with my fellow youths out there, so that those that can watch can also get an inspiration to say, I think the young people truly are leaders of today.
Okay. Let's also now look at the theme, which says building a resilient and prosperous Zambia. How are you probably interpreting this theme?
All right.
Prosperous Zambia.
Prosperous Zambia. Yeah. So basically, the goal is to make sure that when we look at the theme, the goal is to make sure that Zambia, we have got desires as a nation that we wish to reach at a certain stage as a country, as a nation. So today, just as I mentioned, it's not only about celebrating independence, but it is a day that calls upon us reflecting on the responsibility as the young people that we have in order to build our nation, Zambia. So, looking at the theme of today, I can simply say it is a call for us, the young people, every citizen of this nation of Zambia, to make sure that we contribute to the development of this country as we are going. Yes, that's what I can say.
All right. Mr. Phiri, Bartholomew Phiri there. How are you, how have you understood this theme, and do you think it speaks to what most Zambians look forward to seeing? And are we working towards achieving this? Because I think we've seen, for the last 61 years, we've been seeing different themes coming up. But the question should be, as these themes are being, formed, or rather being published, do we ensure that we stick to whatever that theme is, so that next time or next year, as we're coming up with another theme, we'll still look back and say, I think, according to last year's theme, we've managed to do this?
All right. So in response to your question, I think the most important thing first is to look at how did the First Republic, okay, let me say, how did the first cabinet manage the First Republic called Zambia? Okay, the moment we got independence, what are some of the steps that our leaders back then, the Kaundas, Simon Masakapepa, and many others, what steps did they take to ensure that Zambia is built and then we prosper as a nation? The Kaundas, when you look at the Mulungushi reforms of 1968, April 1968 and April 1969, 4 years, 5 years down the line after we got independence, Kaunda is pronounced president, the first Republican president, you'd see that there was a shift, there was a policy shift that had taken place back then. So this policy shift was to ensure that Zambians implement it for their common good, okay? Away from what we are seeing today, when you look at the policy directions that we have taken in the last, maybe let me say in the last 40 years or so, you will see that there has been some compromise. We have compromised a lot. So I think for us to attend to the theme that we are building a resilient Zambia and prosperous Zambia, I think first thing we should not forget that unity is very important. You cannot prosper as a nation in a nation if you are not united. So when we speak unity, look at the philosophies that Kenneth Kaunda and his team brought about. One Zambia, one nation. Those were not just mere slogans that people, when they're excited or intoxicated with liquor or alcohol, and then they start shouting those slogans. Okay, they were slogans that were brought forth for a purpose, to unite Zambia. Meaning that we need to understand that there is development, there's prosperity in unity. If you don't unite as a nation, then forget about prosperity. So for us to attain to prosperity, for us to develop as a nation, I think there is need to unite. All the 72 tribes of this country should unite as one. That's why the Kaundas could shout, one Zambia, one nation. And I believe that today, when such a slogan is being shouted somewhere, when you say one Zambia, one nation, the respondents, those that are responding, one nation, because you say one Zambia. At the moment they are saying one nation, it doesn't click in their mind to say, yes, there is need for unity. They just speak it as a, it's just a mere slogan that anyone would cite at any point, but they don't carry out the actual meaning. So I feel for us to prosper as a nation, unity is important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. To our viewers, if you are watching us right about now, you can also share your views on what you think about Zambia turning 61. Where do you think we have lacked? What can we work on in this country for us to be fully independent without being told on what to do, how to spend, especially the issues of debt. I think we've also dependent so much on donor funding. Just when we saw that a certain funder decided to withdraw their funding, I saw a lot of people saying, I think this is a time that we need now to wake up as a country and utilize our natural resources. So if you have any comments, any contributions on today's special edition of Lunchtime Chat, you can definitely get through to us on the number appearing on the screen as we look at the theme, which talks about building a resilient and prosperous Zambia. So you can definitely get through on the number appearing on the screen. And if you're watching us live on Facebook, you can also leave your comments there. Now, Farah, let's have a look at the leadership we've had for the last 61 years. I think we started with the UNIP, which was led by the late Dr. David Kenneth Kaunda. Then later on, we saw the likes of Titus Chiluba, the late as well, who became the second Republican president. Then we've also seen the likes of Liv Patrick Manawasa, Rupia Banda. Then we saw the likes of Sata, now Edgar, and now we have the UPND. You as a youth, how do you look at the way things have been done from all these people we've had leading us, but also not forgetting that we've only had 4 parties which have led this country. That's just UNIP, MMD, PF, as well as UPND.
All right. Yeah, so first and foremost, when we look at these regimes that we've mentioned, one thing that we should recognize here is that each government, they really came into power with an idea to bring certain changes to this nation of Zambia. And the fact that now we are in a world where there is global warming, there are a lot of international indicators that are affecting our national affairs, we should also really reflect on how the current government is supposed to try by all means, to change from how they used to do things in the past and how things are supposed to be done now. So one thing,
just to hold you.
Yes.
We take a very, very short break. When we come back, we continue receiving your text messages.
On DSTV, it's pregnancy complications, hidden secrets, and even more relationship struggles.
Watch your back.
A young woman uncovers the terrifying truth behind her husband's wealth and the black magic he employs to attain it.
Everything we've created here is for our legacy.
And the bumbling Mr. Bean is back with more crazy capers and constant chaos.
I am enjoying it.
Stay connected to the unmissable on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
Thank you very much for still staying with us. I know you were saying something. It's getting very, very hot. So we keep on advising our viewers to just send their text messages. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So what I was saying actually is, it is undisputed fact. There is no any regime that we can say it was 100% perfect. Each regime had its own faults, and the most important thing that we as the citizens of the nation, is to make sure that we look at the mistakes that each regime made, and we make changes. So how I can describe these regimes from the time that we got independence? Each regime tried by all means, to contribute to add value to this nation, reaching at where we are right now today. I heard you mentioning the issue of, this mountain of debts that we are experiencing as a country. Yeah, of course, it is contributing to the pathetic kind of life that we are experiencing in the country. And it is a call for even the government to take steps in order how best they can cope with these debts in order to make Zambia free from these debts. Just as he mentioned, to say, we are more of having independence, but we don't have it fully. We are not fully independent. Yes. So they have done their party, they have done their law, and our responsibility is to make sure that we force the government, we push the government to come up with policies that will bring changes to this nation.
What do you think should be the role of young people? Or what was supposed to be the role of young people even after independence? 61 years. I'm sure those who were young by that time, they're very, very old. Yeah.
All right. I'll begin with first, educating my viewers to say we the young people, we are 75% of the population of Zambia, which means we have an advantage when it comes to decision making, and also the decision to choose the leadership to be in power. So our law as the youths in this country of Zambia is to make sure that we influence the government to create policies that are going to accommodate everyone, even us, the young people. When you look at the levels of unemployment amongst the young people, at least it is being stabilized, but not fully being stabilized. The government is trying by all means to stabilize the levels of unemployment amongst the youths. But we, the youth as well, we have the law to play. After independence, we are expected even to become more entrepreneurial, creating jobs for other people. It's not all the time that we, the youth, should depend on the government to create jobs for us. We can begin these, we can become entrepreneurs. And the government is offering a lot of opportunities like CDF. You apply for CDF, you own a company, you start creating employment. And another thing is, with the youth, we are the biggest actors that should foster unity in this nation. The fact that we are a largest population of this country, Zambia. If amongst us, the youth, there is no unity, it will be very difficult even for elder people to unite, because we are the ones who have strength. So if we are fighting, we are going to cause a lot of chaos in our nation, Zambia. So it is a core, independence, it is a call for unity, cooperation. But we are responsible as the young people to make sure that these principles that we're mentioning here are fostered. It is our responsibility. So that's how I can.
Mr. Phiri, I asked Farah a question to say, looking at the regimes we've had, it's been 4 regimes. Of course, in other regimes, we've seen 2 people, even more than 2 people, leading this country. How do you look at how it has been from the time that we got our independence? Are we improving, or rather now we've started going back to where we're coming from in terms of development, in terms of adapting to how other countries, because if you look at other countries which gained independence after Zambia, I think some of them are even better than Zambia itself, right here in Africa. Even some of the countries we probably might have even helped.
All right. So when you look at the UNIP had their unique message. Okay, the UNIP came to give us independence. They came to liberate us from the hands of our colonial masters. When you look at the MMD came to reintroduce democracy, okay, which was there even before colonization. Okay, there was democracy because the white minority were practicing democracy. Then there came UNIP, and at some point, somewhere around 1973, Zambia was declared a one-participatory democracy. Thereafter, MMD came into play, reintroduced democracy. And when you look at the PF, they had their own message of infrastructure, in which they attended to. When you look at the UPND today, their message is anchored on economic development. The question is, are we advancing as a nation or we are going backwards? So when you look at all these 4 regimes that we've had in the past, trust me, comrade, I can bet with you that the UNIP tried their best to create a solid foundation because they understood what has been fighting us as a country. They understood where we have been lacking as a country, okay? So they laid a foundation. That's why I was saying in my preamble, I said, those liberation icons need to be appreciated because they laid a clear foundation with their vision, their sacrifice and leadership, which paved way for Zambia, okay, to foster unity, development, and prosperity. Where did we get it wrong? Selfishness, greedy, okay, jealousy, envying one another. All these are supposed to be dealt with. But how do we do that? We need to realize and claim back our identity. We are Zambians. Anything that I do as Bartholomew Phiri should benefit my brothers and sisters in this country. When I begin doing things to benefit the outsiders, or let me call them colonial masters, then I become a pawn of international capital. Because what I'll be advancing there, it will be in the best interest of my masters and not my people. So we have at least gotten somewhere at some point, but where we are today, I think jealousy, envy, greediness has reached its roofing level to an extent that it's now taking us back to colonialism. And if we are not careful, they are coming back in the name of all these different organizations that we are seeing today, because they have made sure that they cage us in a way that whatever we try to do will still get back to them crying for help. So definitely, if we don't open our eyes, if we don't unite as a nation and know what is due to us, trust me, we are getting back to colonialism.
But why are we failing to unite? That must be a question. Why are we failing to unite? Because I don't think there is any other Zambia apart from this one. Why are we failing to unite?
All right. I think, comrade, when we talk about unity, I was mentioning about the Kaundas, and you know, I've taken much time to analyze their movements and also what they started implementing in the country. It clearly indicates to me that they were aiming at having a united Zambia. I was just mentioning about one Zambia, one nation, meaning bringing all the 72 tribes together. Comrade Taizia, I think what is causing us not to unite is because we have gone too tribal. We have gone to regionalism. Okay? The Easterners are saying we are on our own. This is the message. We've heard it on several panels. Okay? And we've seen that people are getting arrested for those tribal remarks and also inciting tribal whatever they call it. So what we need, comrade, there was a time I was seated and I was thinking, I was saying, what if we reach a point as a nation where maybe the Republican president would say, I want to have civil servants, those single ladies and men, those that want to be employed as teachers, doctors, nurses, and whatever, take them to Western Province, take them to Southern Province. Let the singles go there. They will marry from there, comrade. Mm-hmm. And when they marry from there, Easterners should go there, Tongas and Lozis should go to different regions and marry from there, bring up children from there, and that generation, okay, when that generation grows up 30 years after all such that's just my thinking. If there passes 30 years, I will tell you that we cannot talk about tribalism. Because you realize that at the time I want to segregate or sideline you, I want to say you don't belong to my tribe, I will realize that you are a daughter to my sister. Okay? So where will I now find that room of, you know, treating you different? So I think we need to begin looking in all those lines. But if we are going to maintain that no, inendino kuchipata ni kwa tile chaba kuchipata, uyu ni mubemba kwa tilecha kwa vemba. I tell you, kwenda kwa kusogolo oku, I think we are not going to be united. Even panopametiridi, we are much better. But I think we need to begin looking in those lines. I think we will capture it and we will not go astray as a nation.
Your take, yeah, on issues of unity and tribalism.
All right. I'll be very honest here. My observation is, I think we are too hungry for power. Many people are too hungry for power.
Sure.
I've seen it's a desire of everyone now to become a president, to become a member of parliament, to become a council chairman. So I feel like we have a lot of groups that are grouping, saying, no, this is our president. Like, what I mean when I say groupings, I'm saying political parties. I am saying this with an example of United States of America. They have 3 political parties. And those 3 political parties, for one to become the president, that one must be a cream for sure. That person...
And I think they always get to trim it to, is it 2?
Most, yes. You see? So for one to become the president of a party, that person has to be the cream, like a cream for the party, like for the nation. Good for the nation for sure. And when you look at Zambia, we have how many political parties that registered in 2021? We're almost 19 that were on the ballot. And if you now talk about 19 political parties, this one is fighting this one is fighting this one. Like, we can't expect to have unity in that case. We can't expect to have unity. So we need to understand as the citizens that it's not everyone who can read. That's the beginning. We need to understand that it's not everyone who can be in position of leadership. Our responsibility, some of us, is to be in the background, supporting the government. How can we support the government? It's making sure that, just as I mentioned earlier, you become entrepreneurial, or you make sure that you are a pressure group in the society. You are pushing the government to do the right thing as they are in power in order to better our nation. So this is just an addition to what my elder brother, Mr. Bartholomew has mentioned. We are too hungry for power. We should change that perspective.
I think let me also add one more thing to what my colleague has said. He's talking about hungry for power. And I think the problem that we've had when we come to leaders that are heading the political parties is that immediately they are sent to power, he becomes a president. He forgets about others. Okay, they want just to take care of their own party members, which is a dangerous route to take. Comrade, it's a moral principle to any leader that when you ascend to power, you cease to be a political leader. You become a national leader. So when you become the national leader, you are the Republican president. That's why even the titles change. You'll be called His Excellence, the Republican president of what? Zambia. You are not called the Republican president of Tuisepamo political party. No. Okay? You become a president of Zambia, meaning that there should be no room whatsoever that you begin sidelining others. If they try to advise you, then you will say, no, they are coming from a political party, so we cannot listen to what they are saying. That's very dangerous. Okay? So, to what he was saying, hunger for power, just trying to prolong your stay in power, and then you try by all means to start subjecting your people into torture, police cases, and all that, which is not right. So as a nation, if we are to develop, I think when a president wins and becomes a Republican president, he should know that he does not belong to a political party. He belongs to the nation. I think that is important.
All right, let's also allow our viewers to also participate on lunchtime chat. Good afternoon, you are through to KBN TV. Good afternoon, sir. Your name and where are you calling us from? Hello?
Hello,
Madam. You can go ahead with your contribution.
One Zambia, one nation. One Zambia, one nation. One Zambia, one nation. Kukondana. Hili ndio mambo ya ukini Mungu wafika pamoja. CPS wanataka kwa kukondana. vanakambira Phiri kulasi ngatipitirizana nazo zamene zomazonda nazondana ndikozokwerera kumkhala aiwa so uziyadala ngapo zizikhango lesitawuni uzichisakompeya kudala namanje zetichisakompeya apresident valipo manje namapresident amene vamwalira chisakompeya zapela kuti sivilingana mwaimala sivilingana tu tabatisanana naye chai kakhalise tabatichifunga maningi vantuko kukurukirana wana wasa kuti asitogwera pazipano akatamba kulipo hose ziliperekisidetisevenzi kwanza bewanishe pabwera arupira atimuganaminakala ngiwako aiwa so mene ngatichenda ku independence tiende kazikurukirana wina tindi zache ngatukaiti vatisina kwadengera sister ambe vatisina kwadengera so sikungakwaneshe wose vantu kuti kapena mukakali wakurukira kapena wose vantu wamabisa aine kandi mukhalomabisa mabisa vanhu muzipisa mwega muzipisa mwega avangati mande so ndananga vote maiwa so tetitipanga one Zambia one nation kaiza tizikala pamozi ziko lingatikangaba independence so anyese muntu urusika patri kuti nimpere mkurukira nakukurukira kala tete ambere umwe watsopano ndiyamana chifunisa notikapakamba matirifa apa tikamba ngani ya independence kana nafika wamitizikurukirana wina mini kati sitaona hii ndikuti ndivangalapo iwo ngatidakulapira ile ulikurukire ngatinapanda mbama skulu amuna wako kufika skulu kama skulu abatazire katete ambao umwe watsopano so ndikoyifunikira iboma lilipo kupanga umwe watsopano wapeteta kuva votu vagatika tiko vinango zikoma kwambiri zinazaniki.
Thank you very much for your contribution. You can also call us on the number appearing on the screen. We would also love to get your views today being Independence Day. We have 1061. How do you look at the time that we gained our independence and now? Have you seen any difference? Are we improving? Or rather, are we still going backwards? Are we definitely improving? So we would also love to get your views on this particular special Independence Day. A few text messages. This one says, independence is being looked up to for anything for you loved ones. Well, thank you very much for that. This one says, happy 61st Independence Day, KBN crew. It came through from Mr. Kings all the way from Lukulu. And if you're also watching us live on Facebook, you can leave your comments there, leave your contributions. We would also love to hear from you. Where are you celebrating your independence from? Are you enjoying this special Independence Day? So you can get through to us on the number appearing on the screen. I'll start with you, Farah. Most of the times we've been saying we are a developing country. 61 years, we're still a developing country. When are we going to say we are capable of doing things on our own? We have all the natural resources. I think we have almost everything that we have for us to be even a hub, especially here in Africa. But why we're getting it all wrong? Why are we failing to utilize all the natural resources we have for us to be better, for us to be like these other countries, so that when other people from other countries, be it even from the United States of America, they would say, I think I want to go to Zambia.
All right, thank you. I think the major problem that is causing us to still struggle and still remain in the same notion of saying we are a developing country, I think it's the avoidance of paying the price. This is my view. So most of these regimes that we've had, they are avoiding to pay the price. There is a little mistake that was made that we cannot learn away. Zambia has a lot of debt. And that is our problem that we have. But the question is, should we continue suffering and being tormented by the same debts as we are going? That's the question. And the answer is no. So this takes now a cause for the responsibility of the government, making sure that they set Zambia free, regardless of the pain that we can experience as a nation. I'll give an example of Burkina Faso. Look at Burkina Faso. Just in the space of 2 years now, things have changed completely. Look at Mali, things have changed completely. Because these are the leaders that are looking forward to make sure that they are independent, they are not controlled. I'll give an example of this multi-international organization, IMF, World Bank. their goal is not really to help us. I'll be very honest with that. Their goal is not really to help us. They're after profits. They are trying by all means to make profit out of whatever they are doing with our nation. And in as much as we are trying to get help from them, we are also falling in other bigger problems. So where we are going wrong as a nation, we are avoiding to pay the price. We need to pay the price for this country to be liberated.
All right. Okay. With all the natural resources we have, he's given an example of Burkina Faso, and I think most of the times we're hearing people just referring to, look at Burkina Faso. Why is this load shedding? Look at Shani. Where are we getting it all wrong? Where are we missing the point here? Aren't we realizing that we have the potential to be independent, that we have the potential? And he also gave an example to say these people who want to help, they're not helping, but they want to get something from Zambia.
All right. So first thing, what is important is to understand that if we are to develop as a nation, what are we supposed to do? National interest first must be at play. What policies are we implementing? In whose benefit are these policies? We've heard a lot of people saying, no, this is when policies are now materializing, all that. But the question is, whose benefit are these policies? We are talking about independence. And I don't know why I'll keep on referring to the to the UNIP.
Okay.
Over the Mulungushi reforms and the material reforms. I think that is very important. If we pay particular attention to that, we'll understand what was behind those reforms. Okay? Their goal was to ensure that they put national interest first. They looked at, for Zambia to thrive, for Zambia to go forward, what we need is to implement policies that are going to benefit the people. Okay? They are to put national interest first, not individualism. And this is where the problem is. It's because the leadership that we've had in the past till today, it's more like we are just interested in ourselves. Okay? We don't care about national interest first. What we want is, so long as I'm able to eat, so long as my family is okay, I'm able to send my children to school, I'm able to pay, bills and all that, then I'm okay. What about a common Zambian? Okay, what about a common Zambian? So when you look at the way the first cabinet managed this country 4 years to 5 years down the line over the Murungushi reforms and the material reforms, you would realize that they advanced the national interest first. Why? Because they were patriotic. And this is what we are lacking. We are very good when it comes to speaking. We speak beautiful language, we speak very well. But when it comes to implementing what we speak, is totally different. We divert and go a different route, which is very, very dangerous. Okay? So for us as Zambia to reach a point where we say we are capable, we are developed, I think we must for sure have resilience, meaning having the ability to withstand the challenges. But then how do you have the ability to withstand challenges if you are still compromising? You still want Muzungu and Konde. All you are interested in is that when you go out there to European countries, they should clap hands for you that you've done better. Okay? There are a lot of examples that we can give. Policy direction. What sort of policy direction are we implementing? There are a lot of examples, but if I begin picking one after the other, people might say, no, it's because that's why I come so. But when you look at the policies that we've implemented in the past, most of them have not put national interest first. And that is where a problem is. So it's more like we are enemies to ourselves. So the moment we realize that, I think in everything that I do, national interest must be put first. Look at the young people who were in the forefront fighting for independence during the independence struggle. They forgot about their homes, their families and whatever, but they sacrificed to fight for Zambia. They sacrificed their life. Okay? In fact, I would say we were lucky that the independence that we had was through negotiation, a round table. We are seated here negotiating. Comrade Trahisia, please, can you please give us independence? That's what we were doing. Different from Zimbabwe, where our friends got independence through the barrel of a gun. People were shot. Different from Zambia. When you look at Zambia,
But there was bloodshed. I think even the time that Zambians were fighting for independence, there was also bloodshed.
So when you look at Zambia, the huge bloodshed that was shed was during Chachacha. Zambians against Zambians. Okay? If you try to search your history very well, it will show you that Zambia got independence through negotiation, unlike that of Zimbabwe. Okay? So this is a comparative analysis. Zambia got independence through negotiation. Zimbabwe through a barrel of a gun. Why? Because Zambia was a protectorate, meaning a protected land. It was not a full colony. But when you look at Zimbabwe, it was an extended territory for the British. That's what it was. So the white minority, they resisted to give Zimbabwe to Zimbabweans. Unlike here in Zambia, where our leaders sat down negotiating and then they were given. In fact, Zambia was supposed to get independence around June. If not 6th, it should be 26th June, together with Malawi. But our leaders here said, no, let's wait for October 24th. I don't know what was behind that. Okay? So they had to wait, but initially we were supposed to get independence at the same day. So it was a negotiation. Malawi, negotiation. But for Zimbabwe, it was a different one. Okay? So the young people sacrificed. So we don't need to take their sacrifice in vain. That's why we as Zambians, we should. My brother here said we are afraid of paying the price. And then he has given example of Burkina Faso. And you've said people are talking about Burkina Faso. Look at the policy direction that Burkina Faso has taken in the space of 2 to 3 years. National interest. Okay? Any leader that becomes a president should advance national interest. That leader is a good leader. But if those leaders are just going to be okay, so long as their pockets are okay, they are able to pay bills, then they don't care about a common Zambian, then it's dangerous. We can't develop.
All right. Your closing on this, I know we're out of time now. Your closing on today being our 61st anniversary or our 61st day to just celebrate the independence that we've had. What would be your message to young people, especially those who are used as cadres in most cases? Because I don't see an adult. You can't hire an adult to go and cause violence. I don't think that is possible. What would be your message to young people?
All right, thank you so much. The first thing that I'll mention to my fellow youths is, there's this saying in Bemba to say, imiti kula impanga. But I believe imiti nashikula. That's what I believe in, imiti nashikula. There is no tomorrow, it's today. And this is what we need to believe in, to say, we are not going to be the leaders of the future, but the leaders of today. Because whenever we are promised to say, you are leaders of tomorrow, tomorrow is not promised. We're not sure of tomorrow, what will happen. So it is my encouragement to the youths to refrain from political violence. Never be used as tools for violence. I know we are heading to national elections next year, and the nation is under political influence. Yes, the atmosphere is politically charged. So please, my fellow youths, let's refrain from being used. We have a value and a law to contribute to this nation, but not through violence. This is through dialogue, negotiation, and making sure that our interests as the youths, we are respected and we are valued. And today, it's not just about celebrating independence.
And wearing Zambian flags.
And wearing Zambia flag, going out. I've seen a lot of people. I was by Independence Building today. Yeah, so I saw a lot of people coming, celebrating, and the likes. But the one thing that I want to also remind you is that today is a call for unity. there is one Zambia, only one Zambia that we need to protect. We have 72 tribes, but this is one Zambia. I am Chawa by tribe from Eastern Province, but I can stay even in Southern Province without any interference. I have to stay in Southern Province without any interference, in Copperbelt without any interference. But that depends with our responsibility as the young people. We need to refrain from violence. Yes. So that's what I can say to my fellow youths. And my last message is to the current government, the ruling government. We, the young people, we are facing a lot of challenges when it comes to participating in leadership. Most of the things that we are facing challenges is that we are not taken serious, say we can lead. But it's not everyone who cannot lead. You know, there are some of us who are responsible that today, even if we are given a ministerial position, we are going to deliver. Yes.
So are you saying the president needs to start appointing you? Anyways,
No, not me.
Mr. Phiri, there, you're closing on this. Today, we turned 61 as a country. We're very awed.
All right.
Yeah.
So Zambia has turned 61 years old. It's a good thing that we've turned 61 years old. But again, I believe that our freedom fighters are not happy with what we are doing as leaders that have taken over from them. I love the fact that my colleague here has spoken in English to address the young people. Let me use my mother tongue to address the young people. I know some people may be saying, no, if you were batista seglistina mbeleko chili chonse chamene chakambika. So kuli ife banyamata bachichepere bamene titengewa all the times kuti mwesa mowa kuti bemesa fuaka kuti endani mukachite chongoko. Let's stop. That's a very bad behavior. Aba wakuru bamene batituma tikabaona batishita so tentiziwe kuti they are enemies of progress. For Zambia to progress, it needs young people like you and me. For Zambia to go forward, we need fresh minds to be brought on board so that they can contribute. So imwe wangono bamene mukonda kutema myala, you are calling yourselves junksy, cadres and whatever. Please, in as much as we are playing politics, let's remember that we are one family. Okay? When I look at the UPND, I look at the PF, I look at the Socialist Party, I look at the Citizens First, I look at UNIP, whatever political party, mention it all. I don't see enemies. We have to see that those are our brothers. The only difference that is there is that the way we look at things and the way they look at things is different. But at the end of the day, all this is done to sharpen the growth of the nation. So please, let's refrain from political violence like my brother has alluded to. And once we do that, let's take responsibility. This is our nation. Our wakuru, they are going. They are aging. They are going. What are we going to tell our children if we are on the forefront proposing violence, throwing stones anyhow? Just imagine unga wadula wendo pwanyina muntu wali kwa kanyama shop wamina agulisa maybe tukapenda. For what? No, sit down and think, what are we supposed to do so that I think that's my message.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Maybe as we close, there's a text message here and it says, Happy Independence Day. Our country is a peaceful nation compared to other countries. This freedom, we have it. It is because of the quality leadership you see today. What people miss most is depending on government. Let us work hard to improve our life, not always blaming leadership. This came through from Victor all the way from Choma. We've come to the end of today's lunchtime chat. In the studio, I was joined by Mr. Bartholomew Phiri, who is a political analyst. I was also joined by Farah Anderson Phiri, who is a youth and also loves to talk about young people in leadership. I've been your host, Taizi Achala. Have a lovely afternoon and enjoy this day because you have that freedom to move around. But be mindful of the things that you're going to do. And don't forget that up next, we'll also be having a special independence program. Your beautiful girl, Becky, will be coming up shortly. So send all those messages you want to send. What do you know about independence? And which songs would you want to probably listen to on a special day like this one. So for me, Taisia Chelis, bye-bye, and enjoy the rest of the day. Happy 61st Independence Day, Zambia.